Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps Dark Star Legacy, Part 3 of our Four Keeps adventure. Today is May 29th, 2023, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/indooradventures. Now, let's say you already support us on Patreon. You already support us on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and all of those other wonderful places that are still exist at the time of recording this video, or streaming this video rather, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Guess what, Acorns? I got your back, quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks. I don't know where mine is right now because I've been using it outside, but with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf 1201. So all of the proceeds from our merch currently goes to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support the show, or possibly help support a good cause, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So, hey, RJ, who you playing today?
Hello, everybody. I'm RJ, and today I'm playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard Fighter. We both go by he, him.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp, and I'm going to be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian. We both go by she, her.
Boy, I'm Cyber. I use he and any percent pronouns. I play Arjhan. Arjhan is a draconian speedrunner. He, him.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Wings, she, her. Today I'm playing as Koris'Erd, the Eldrin Paladin, she, they, and he.
And I'm the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be not just your birthday boy, but also your dungeon master. So, last we left off, I know it's been a couple weeks since we played, so let's give a little bit closer of a recap than we would normally do otherwise. So, where we started off last campaign, or not last campaign, last session, where we had started off last session is that your group had made their way to the other Dragonborn city, the only Dragonborn city really that exists on the plane of Illyria, at least in proper. When you arrived to Praxaltagrathis, you were met with confusion. Also, element of appreciation is, you know, one of you was a dragon when you arrived into this Dragonborn town, and it seems that they are all very down when it comes to supporting dragons and dragon friends. You also informed their chieftain, as well as their more notable mystic, that, hey, Celestian's Arc, this Planebreaker, is going to be coming by shortly. I know that that's important to everybody here. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown on that one? And so they explained the process by which they had arrived here in Koris'Erd. Caelum, wanting to get a little bit more information, decided to use a version of Contact Other Planes to speak with Celestian aboard his aboard this homeward star. Speaking to Celestian, you found out that they are indeed on a trajectory that will potentially lead them to where Caius dwells, which is something that you are not exactly thrilled about necessarily, because if the Planebreaker, circling in its varied trajectory, comes in contact with Caius, that could be a bad time had by most everybody. But that has given you at least an idea of a method by which you would be able to arrive at Caius's doorstep. That being said, your group had further conversation about what you were going to do. You found out that the Planebreaker is coming from a plane of bears. You're not really sure what that entails, but the best way to find out is going to be after this thing punctures into your reality to kind of see what comes out. I mean, that's how you're going to find out regardless of what's going to be here. You're either going to find out about a bunch of bears in the middle of the ocean, or you can be there to witness it yourself. I'm sure that also sounds like a potentially terrifying and rather fun event. Also of note, the Mechanical Tyrant, as it has been so called up until this point, is only several days away from its completion. It looks like this thing is, they're just putting the polish on it at this point. As far as it being functional, functional, yes, but they want to make sure that it looks as nice as it can to be delivered and handed off to you all, the Four Keeps. Now, that being said, Arjhan was able to sort of look through elements of the as to the trail of where the Planebreaker is coming, and you can sort of see again its general trajectory looking through here. And your group has made the decision, at least in part currently, that you were going to help escort the people here to where the Planebreaker was coming in. Now, that was going to be had at the beginning of the day where we had last left off. We had just finished off a long rest, I do believe. So in case there was anything that anyone wanted to make sure to do over the evening, you are more than welcome to do so. Just let me know. Otherwise, again, sort of arriving into the morning, there are a group of about, we would say about 18 of these Dragonborn that are ready to be taken to where the Planebreaker resides, or at least where you know the Planebreaker is going to be. And they are unsure as to how to get there, but your group has sort of let them know, like, that's all right. We will figure out a means of transportation for this, or at least to my recollection as the Dungeon Master, that was what had been stated previously. If I heard wrong, or my memory over the last 2 weeks has changed of this event, again, please let me know. But to the last of my memory, that was the course of events. So we start early in the morning. It seems like the sun as a whole does make its way into the general area, although it does have to cut through some serious cloud cover in order to do so, as there again is that very tumultuous Everstorm that seems to exist outside of the Dragonborn Island. Which you also then found out was most likely because of the dragon turtle that resides here, with that being more of like its regional effect. It seems like it is doing its best to keep the people safe in its own terms. So that being said, a group of these Dragonborn have all kind of gathered into a central square and are ready to go at a moment's notice.
Do I know, do I have a pretty good idea of the island that was near where we were seeing the break?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, you guys spent some time there. You could have even, like, if you had known that you wanted to go back there later, you could have left something of yours behind to, like, have a physical attachment kind of thing.
What sort of, like, island was it? Was it like...
It was more of like a sandbar style island. Like there wasn't a whole lot of vegetation or a lot in terms of like local ecology. The most prominent species that you would find there is like crabs, birds, that sort of thing. But you're not going to find like an entire civilization of people there. It was more kind of like where parts of the sandbar were sticking up.
So there's no big tree.
No big tree.
God damn it. All right. Nightfall's well. Here we go. Do the draconic transformation or potion of Dragon's Majesty. Do a gate to get us back there. Or oh. It may have to be teleport. Yeah, it may have to be multiple castings of teleport. Yeah.
Well, how long does gate stay open?
Not long.
Not long. I think it's instant.
Duration, concentration up to a minute.
Yeah, so with concentration up to a minute, you could definitely hold it open long enough for people to go through.
Okay. Cool. Somehow, we're getting them over there.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so you were able to perform this and are able to kind of get these folks through. And when they arrive, you can see that this fracture that exists within the sky, as had been stated previously, where this is going to be coming through in a much more expedited time frame than you were thinking. You can see that there are these large chunks of sky that seem to have fallen off and turning kind of into that echo shard as it falls into the ocean. As it does so, now, especially more so than yesterday, you can see that there is like this glowing green light that seems to be coming from the other side of where this thing is. And I would say that the Dragonborn here, they sort of look to it and immediately begin like going over and setting up an area where they can either observe it or pay their reverence to it. It seems like this thing in and of itself, even through its apparition, is not necessarily a cause for alarm for them. They do seem generally a little bit uncomfortable with that like thrumming sound that seems to be coming from these cracks. But ultimately, this has cultural significance to them, so they're willing to like, oh, okay, like it's finally happening. I didn't think it would sound like that. I'm sure it's fine. And like they are again in the process of kind of like setting up a station to begin observing this. And you see that one of them even pulls out a book and begins to like, or yeah, it's like a blank page book, and they're sort of writing down in what looks to be like an explorer's journal to kind of have decent notes about what it is this thing will present.
So
Anything else we want to do?
I can't really think of anything, but for science, and not because I'm really excited to see a plane shatter or anything, I really want to watch the comet come through.
And just so we're clear, we are very safe here, right?
If you ask that and like sort of like look at the Dragonborn and they shrug.
Good.
I mean, they say like when they came through, they were yoinked up with it, and like they didn't get to ride on the thing. They were just sort of like thrown through the passageway. So you know, it's not going to be a great time this close, but they are prepared this time around. You see that they're like looking at like, okay, where's a big rock I can chain myself to? Like,
that might not. When this comes through, don't stray too far away from me. I will put a force bubble up around us. From what I recall, Celestian saying, a landmass is going to get dropped depending on how high the comet is and where this drops. We might be dealing with a tsunami hitting the island.
they all sort of like look at each other and just sort of like shrug. They're like, okay, we'll do our best. If you have a force bubble, I mean, they are like,
I mean,
more than better.
If you're really into surfing, now's the time of your life, I guess.
You see, one of them actually is into a surf style sport.
She's like, hell yeah, brother.
Just ride the wave. So yeah, they are ready. They are gearing up. And yeah, you all have it seems like 2 more days. Or at least the end of this day, and then tomorrow is the day that this thing will bust through. At least as far as you know. Tylera, last you heard, was sailing far away from this thing, did not want to be involved in it at all. She had eggies to find. And so she is still in the process of sailing across the sea to try and find those eggies. That being said, yeah.
Well, if we wanted to view this phenomenon from the safety of somewhere, I think I have a combination of spells that might work. If I were to cast my Magnificent Mansion and put a force wall in front of the doorway, we can observe the tsunami that happens.
Is this something we want? Like, Gwen's kind of like, but why?
Well, if you consider this might actually be able to save the population.
Oh yeah, I'm very much for. I'm just more concerned about the it's for fun sort of thing.
How many people can the Magnificent Mansion hold?
It's like 100, right?
No. As many people as we can stuff in there.
Oh, well.
It's infinite rooms. It can feed up to 300 people 3 times a day, but it never says there's a max occupancy. I can have as many rooms as I want in there.
It's the fire marshal's nightmare.
Well, perhaps if it's as dangerous as all that, we should...
File them all in.
I mean, it'd be adequate shelter.
I'll talk to...
If it were just a storm, I'd be able to help, but it's water. And
it's a landmass falling out of the sky.
Exactly. It's not exactly my domain. If it were a storm, I could do something about it, but...
All right. Well, we've got another day and a half, approximately.
In total, yeah.
Let's give everyone some warning so that we have some time to file everyone in.
All right.
Magnificent Mansion lasts for 24 hours, so I can cast it on the day of.
How accurate is our prediction?
Fairly accurate, considering I got it from Celestian himself.
Well, I mean, to the day, to the hour?
To the day, at the very most.
All right. We should probably do that then. And if we need to be closer to observe what's going on, we can fly in. I don't think Ampleforth's doing anything nowadays.
All right. Well, I'll get that squared away with oh, it's been so long. Who was the scholarly dude that I was talking to?
Skavix?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Skavix Senior.
Yeah.
For some reason. Oh, that's right. Skavix Senior.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mr. Slaughterhouse. No, that's not his name.
That's the common pronunciation of it, but no, it's not. Slaughterhouse was a moniker.
Yeah, just relay to Skavix. Hey, this might happen, so if you don't want your people of your island to be washed away, have them gather in the square at this time.
He'll take your suggestion. Try and relay it as best he can.
During the time that we're going to be out here, as echo shards do continue to fall out or manifest from the rift and everything, Arjhan will try to harvest a large quantity of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Before they
fall into the water. Make a D100 check. Won't be adding anything to it, just D100.
19.
A 19. Catching large falling rocks, heavy rocks as they fall from chunks of the sky is not a not a thing that you are well practiced in. So it is a little difficult, but I would say in total you find, if you spent the entire day doing it, we'll say that it roughly equates to 1,000 gold pieces worth of Echo Shard chunk that you are able to find. Okay. So, got that? Totally fine. Gwen, Cori, is there anything that the two of you wish to do over this day as Caelum, or as Arjhan is just like, if there's nothing else going on, I got an hour left in this draconic form, I'm going to grab as many of these rocks as I can.
I think Gwen would probably spend some time. Well, she doesn't need any echo shards. I think she'll get like a good layout of the island, maybe do a jog around, just to like make sure that, you know, if something happens, she knows where everything is. So like if people need to be rescued or anything like that, she can have a handle on it.
Okay. Yeah. Again, thankfully, this is an uninhabited island. So you don't have to worry about people being in need of rescue.
Yeah.
And Gwen, as you're jogging, you start to think about, you are heading into what will be the decisive battle. And it's something that definitely weighs a little bit heavy, I would think. That feeling of, are we prepared enough?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing the right thing? And you're kind of thinking back about, about the other Goliaths that have that were in that scouting party that got by the drow houses. And one of the things that you've spent a long time doing and have been privy to is battle strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you have the option of riding the Planebreaker, as Caelum had stated, Celestian knows roughly the course that the Planebreaker is going to be taking.
Mm-hmm.
You are unsure if Caius also has that information.
Yeah.
That being said, there are generally, in your experience, multiple tactics, multiple ways that you can infiltrate a enemy force.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is to use a large distraction and to rout them, essentially. What you start getting the idea for on this jog is you have a means of traveling through space.
Mm-hmm.
The Planebreaker also can travel through space. You don't know how long it will be to get to where it needs to go. But if you were to, say, take a small like a bare bones manned vessel such as your ship, you could try and either use the Planebreaker as the distraction to get in, or if you hope hard enough, hopefully Caius does not know the direction that the Planebreaker is coming from, or that it will be present. They are a creature that defies logical expectation, being this sort of elder god. That's not really a god, but godlike power.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult, but you start getting that idea of what is the right battle plan. Do you ride this like large meteor like it's the end of Doctor Strangelove all the way to Caius's house, or do you try and find a like your own way there, necessarily try and see if there is a way that you could even like Rasa, for example, she lived in astral space. Maybe she knows somebody who'd be able to take you to where you needed to go, or at least have an idea of a different path.
Okay. Noted. Yeah, Gwen will finish her jog and kind of go back up to Arjhan once he is out of his dragon form. And hey Arjhan, I was thinking, maybe Caius knows about that giant diner comet thing that's heading his way, right? Like, I mean,
is it heading his way?
I thought it was heading his way. Weren't they going to intercept? Wasn't that the whole thing?
I don't think so.
No? What's going towards Caius then?
Is it going towards Caius?
From what Caelum had been able to gather from speaking with Celestian at the diner, Caius's domain is on the large rotation, like through all of the different planes that this thing is going to be traversing. That is one of the places that it will go.
Oh.
It has not gone there yet.
We don't know exactly when it will be.
Right. But I'm wondering if we can use it for like a distraction or something, because we do know people who have traveled through like the astral sea and shit before, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, we could, well, I guess you guys don't have that saying, but we could pull a gambit where we kind of ride off the back of the comet, the diner thing, and then use it as a distraction to Caius, and then we kind of go underneath and like come from behind and attack that way.
If we were to do that, we would need to have something prepared to be able to do that.
Yeah, like
now.
a spaceship.
We don't have that right now.
Right, but we could buy one, right?
No,
Why not?
because as far as I know, nobody else on this planet has a spaceship. I am getting one built in the Hells. We still have some time to wait on that.
Yeah, but we don't, I mean, people travel in space all the time, right? There are ships out there.
Yes, but I don't believe that's something that we've had on this world for a long, long time.
No, but I mean, we can magic our way pretty much through anything, right? Like,
Right,
we
so
can.
there's no need for general accessible space travel. It's sort of the only thing that billionaires would have access to.
Right, so we don't need a spaceship to do this, or we do need a spaceship?
If we were to do this, yes, we would probably need a vessel if we were not going to do it directly off of the comet.
Yeah, but like people go to the diner all the time. Maybe we could buy a ship off somebody who goes there.
These people have been waiting an awful long time to go to the diner.
Right, not these people, but like other people out in space. There's a whole plane out there of people who travel in space. We don't have to get it from here. Nobody from here knows how to do that. We go into space, we find a spaceport, we buy a ship. It's just like going to a port, right?
Yeah, probably. Do you have second spaceship money?
I mean, how much can a spaceship cost?
A lot.
20.
Right, don't we have money? I don't spend money on anything.
The more times that question gets asked, the less money we have. I don't think we understand that.
I don't understand. But anyways, it's a thought. It's a thought because we don't know if Caius knows that this. I mean, he could be planning on using the Planebreaker to do some bad stuff.
If we get a better understanding of the path of the Planebreaker, sorry, I think I just had to pay royalties to somebody. Then, yes, we should be able to use the spaceship that I already have being developed and follow in its path.
Yeah. Just a thought. I mean, I don't think. I think we should probably take a lot of time and decide how we're going to do this because it's not just like, walking up to a bear den. This is big shit. So we need to strategize beyond just we're going to fight Caius,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I did a lap around the island. Looks like everything's pretty on the up and up. I found a couple spots for us to get to higher ground if we need to, but the whole. I feel like a lot of the mundane stuff doesn't really matter because we just magic our way out of a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm just saying that Caelum always seems to have a way to do something. So I feel like my planning doesn't really. I'm just trying my best out here,
Yeah, I know.
I just want to be useful. Besides punching. I know I do that really well, but that only comes up once every 4 months or so at this point.
Arjhan, he's just sort of absently nodding his head. He's listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
He is thinking of something else. And during this conversation, he's just there's just a big chunk of rocks next to him that he's just sort of absently shifting his attention to.
Mm-hmm. Gwen kind of notices and just goes, okay. And she just kind of walks away. And she waits for the bears.
Okay. Caelum, you look like you had a face journey while Arjhan and Gwen were speaking. Is there anything you would like to do while you wait for these bears?
Caelum is sitting on the beach, his journal out, and he is doing meticulous calculations on okay, so if let's say the landmass is this many miles wide, it's going to generate a tsunami about 12 miles high, and then it's going to do how much pressure. So I'm going to need to make the mansion's interior stone, and then make the doors blah blah blah, and then it's just he's furiously scribbling into this book.
No, for sure. Okay. So you are getting your calculations set and ready. Cori, is there anything that you would like to be doing during this time? You see that it looked like Arjhan and Gwen were having not a heated conversation, but it definitely looked like they were trying to figure something out. It looked like a problem solvers meetup.
I see. Cori will go ahead and cast Find Greater Steed and summon Ampleforth.
Okay. They will just come from out of the ocean. You see they have algae on their antlers and just sort of shake their head and get the salt water off of them, but they will come over and just sort of like look at you with that very like ho-hum kind of expression,
Yeah.
and then just like give you a giant horse lick on the side of the face.
Of course. Cori will get out a brush and help clean him up somewhat, make him a little bit presentable. And then mount up and basically do the same thing as Gwen, like get a ride around the island and get it like pretty much memorized,
Okay.
figure out the layout and everything.
Thankfully, it's not too difficult of a layout. It's I mean, it's very similar to like the sandbar style islands from, I want to say, the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where they're sort of just like stranded out and like there's nothing.
Right, and Davy
really
Jones
there.
standing in
Yeah.
the bucket. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Coolio.
similar to that.
Coolio. Easy peasy. Yep, she'll check on Caelum. Make sure that he's all Gucci.
Oh, hey, how can I help you?
Oh, I was just seeing if you needed any help.
I am currently fine on that front. I'm just worried that if the water hits us at this range, I don't think the wall of force will hold for too long.
What makes you think that?
Well, wall of force only lasts for about a minute. Let me double check my parameters.
Only a minute.
Wall of force. Oh, wall of force lasts for 10 minutes. That is fine.
It's only
Still,
problem until the water doesn't recede.
true. So for that point in order, I'm essentially making an offshoot inside of the Magnificent Mansion where everyone can essentially be. And then from there, we can just teleport out. Hopefully.
All right.
I have to have contingency plans on top of contingency plans.
Completely understandable. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
You wouldn't happen to know any type of spell that would allow people to teleport, would you?
As far as teleportation goes,
Because right now, this is a very big strain on my resources.
I see. I can't teleport necessarily, but Ampleforth can carry one or two people, and back and forth between here and a safe secondary location. Oh, gods damn it! I can scatter.
I meant more on the long range side of things.
That's the best I can offer you for now.
You know what? It might work.
Where do you think the bears will land?
Can I
Just
make
starts
a Arcana
turning
check
in a circle.
place of like specific calculations?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna make people do math on this game. On this stream.
Come to think of it, if they fall in the ocean, there's probably not going to be much of a threat.
Caelum sees into the code with a 31.
So from what the Dragonborn have said, from what your knowledge is of how vacuums work, you are going to guess that it is going to be a little bit of a like almost like a grape shot situation, where they are going to come through, and then some bears are going to get sent off to the side. So you might have bears landing on this island, but they'll mostly be centered on the landmass that they will most likely be coming with. So as far as where bears, everywhere bears. The only place that it does not seem like the bears will be really arriving is behind where this fissure lies. seems like this is going to be a forward-facing momentum. So when Cori
Brave
asks,
shot.
like, like Cori asks, like, oh, where are the bears going to be? Like, you point to an island a little bit off, like there are going to be some bears there.
I imagine Caelum pulls out a map that he got from one of the Dragonborn and just circles an area. It's a very wide area. About thereabouts. And maybe here, definitely here, but not here. This would be preposterous, but definitely here. And he's circling.
I see. Well, I can try and speak with them and keep them calm. And any of the injured I can take care of.
Great. They're only falling from about several hundred feet up. I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right, Cori will meander over to Gwen and Arjhan. How's that conversation going?
Looks like this would have been like right as it was finishing up. Arjhan,
Gwen kind of just walked away.
Yeah, and you see that Arjhan was like listening, but also kept doing the thing where like looking at the jemmies while talking with Gwen. So it looks like their conversation, it happened. You're not sure what the resolution was, but
all right. Cori will let Arjhan know that she's at his disposal. If he needs anything, then she'll make it happen. Otherwise, if we're going to be spending the next 2 days on this island, I don't think that there's anything else that Cori's going to do to prepare. I'll peruse my spell list and see if there's anything I can do. But I'm not. I can make a druid grove. I can do that. It's not going to do anything against water though.
Where did we leave the house?
Who's this directed to?
I think the
The-
last place
the
you
DM.
left the house was,
With the tribe, no?
I believe it was with the tribe. I believe you had just rekeyed it to the new tribes, or to the tribe's new location.
We've got 2 days.
Yep. Thereabouts, maybe a day and a half.
I might have a thing that I want to do tomorrow morning. I may need to move the house and bring it to the site.
Whatever you need. And I've got Ampleforth with me, so I can move about quite quickly.
I should be able to get back pretty quickly, but yeah.
Okay.
Caelum would access to a teleportation circle be useful for the defense or trying to get people out of danger? Or does that take too long?
Teleportation as a spell itself requires teleportation circle is a
The teleportation circle takes a minute, but
yeah.
but it's only a 5th level spell, which means it could fit into the ring.
I think the only problem that I have with teleportation circle is it has a limit on how many people can get inside.
So does teleportation.
Yeah.
Or teleport.
Tell me how many. Quanto?
Teleportation circle does not have a limit.
Oh, it does not, huh?
It's just, yeah.
Is it just a size category thing? No, not even. All right.
It's just, well, it has to fit within the 10-foot diameter circle, but
I'm sure if people piggyback on one another, we can get as many people out that way.
but even then, a teleportation circle would help anchor a teleport, right?
Yes, I think that's up to the DM because teleportation circle is a temporary thing unless you cast it over the course of a year every single day, then it becomes permanent.
But if it's one of those things where you need to teleport like to a place, having one person be like, okay, like we've agreed what the teleportation circle is
If we
going to
establish
look like.
this, the runes on the circle. Okay. If we establish what the runes on the circle are, then we can definitely have a link. We just have to write the runes down a couple of minutes apart.
Are there any, I mean, what goes into that?
Some silver dust to be used in the runes, the specific runes themselves, which we could probably flub up. They'd have to be, original in make, or else we might link to someone else's. That would be kind of bad. You want me to draw that up?
Yeah. I should probably explain what I'm thinking. I'm not just worried about us right now. Yeah. I don't think Caius is only looking at this world. We know that. We know that he's coming for other worlds. And a lot of the other ones are probably a lot closer to him right now.
Do you want to try to pull as many people as we can out of those worlds here?
No. As in, I don't want us here now to focus on it, but I do think we need to give those other worlds a shot at a refuge. I'm going to try and make a permanent circle with that, and he's looking over to the echo shards.
Oh, okay.
Something that the rest of me would know about, and have some sort of nexus where people can escape to if they need to get out quickly.
In theory, it could work. The echo shards are basically bits and pieces of planar, or the planes. If we could fine tune a piece to basically emit the same frequency as another in another world, then you could use it as a catalyst for a door. I'd have to do a little bit more research into it. But
How
yeah.
quick? Well,
hey DM.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my background feat of researcher.
Okay.
To try and recall knowledge on where this might be, like the books.
Oh, the books to make something like this?
Essentially, like the plane theorem and echo shard.
Okay. Yeah.
Research.
I mean, with the background feature, you don't have to roll for it, I don't believe. I think it just says that you know these things, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. Incredible.
The
This
first
is-
time I've used this.
That's a level 20 ability, BB. So from what you've read, from what you've encountered, the breakdowns of what the echo shards are and what you can theoretically do with them is going to be information that would be found in the floating city of Vascor. Vascor, of course, being having had access to one of the most prodigious mages colleges. Otherwise, if you met up with a Lindra Stone Mantle, you're guessing that they've also done work on echo shards, because from what your knowledge is, what you're able to gather, echo shards exist on both continents. It is not a localized thing as to where you can find these materials. Chances are you'd be able to get a good understanding from her, or at least have access to her library to be able to do more research into these things. So that is the information as to where you would find out where to get more info on echo shards. What was the other element of the question that you would ask? Because I remember it being twofold.
And essentially plan our travel, if there was a way to essentially tune the echo shards so that they resonate, and then you can use them as a catalyst to teleport in between planes or dimensions, essentially.
In order to do that, you would most likely need to go back to the Feywild and go to the college that exists on the Autumn Plane. As being a extra dimensional place in and of itself, they have a much better understanding of the pathways to and from each of the planes. That, and you know that the Feywild is almost what's seen as like a
hub, essentially,
like a prime hub. It's sort of like how most everything connects to the same hells. Like different planes will connect to the same hells in this reality. That's the same thing with the Feywild. The Feywild has access to a multitude of different planes and how it is set up in and of itself. So you could either go to, I would say your best options to look would either be the hells or the Feywild. And you know that there are people within the hells that are willing to share that information with you. And you know that there are people in the Feywild who are also willing to share that information with you, albeit under less nefarious circumstances.
Well, I have an idea. I'd be gone for at least a day or two, but if I were to pop over and ask Alendra Stonemantle to see her research on the echo shards, take that research with me to the Feywild, and try and levy my visa there for an hour a day, come back.
If
I'd be gone for about 3 months actual.
if it's going to take more than a day, and if it's not going to be something that's going to be useful in
Jesus
the
Christ.
impact, then let's not worry about it now.
Okay. We can shelve this for a later date, but it's a good idea. I'm actually interested in the implications of this. And I can get back to you whenever I can. If I'm in the Feywild at the very least. We still have a few days on the mech.
Yep.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. So that is Caelum's course of action, is that you're going to start researching or looking into how to create extraplanar get-out bags, essentially?
Essentially.
Okay. Or at least, like, create pathways that, like, if, like, is your plane under duress? Contact Caelum. He'll help you out.
Contact one of the many Arjhans. They might know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds good. So that is the Caelum plan for the next couple days. Okay. and Arjhan, you are still figuring out like the best way to like get to Verstaine, do all of that, or is that what you are going to be or is that where Arjhan is currently going to be going?
Arjhan's just gonna like he's just gonna move the echo shards to Verstaine, and just sort of set up what he thinks he's going to do.
Okay.
But not actually make movements on it until he's got the information that he needs from Caelum.
Okay. Sounds good. And then Cori, you said that you didn't like until the bears come. Cori is more just figuring out like what are we gonna do with these bears? Like that's like her like Caius and everything. Like there's an immediate bear problem that is going to be occurring here shortly. And like as a guardian and steward of nature, probably
I think for the most part, okay, so like when you're in an escape room, there's like the like multiple people like are good at different things. What Cori is the runner. Like she's just like running around and making sure that everyone's like got what they need. Okay. Or running in information from place to place. Like she has nothing to prepare for necessarily, so she's just gonna make sure that she's at everyone else's disposal so that she's making herself useful.
Okay. Sounds
she helping.
Good. She helping. And Gwen, after your conversation with Arjhan like went over, had a conversation with Caelum, and it seemed like they were talking. So like you're thinking maybe they finally listen to me. Maybe they are just going to talk to the Magic Man and then have him do Magic Man things and take care of this whole problem. And you like in that process are already thinking about you wearing like Admiral's gear at the prow of a second spaceship. Like, yes, everything's turning up, Gwen, on this one. But I know that you had mentioned that you were interested in doing combat strategy with the spirits that exist in your head, and so you kind of call up a council amongst them. Mm-hmm. You see all of your friends, and then that one guy who has just been hanging out since your time in the Shadowfell, like with his great sword, just sort of like waiting for the day that he gets to come out and do stuff as well. But I think that it would be Grayskull that says, "All right, Chief, I got a question for you."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say we fight Caius.
Mm-hmm.
Can he like turn us into worm people?
I think so, yeah.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, that not you guys, because you. Okay. Well, wait, hold on. Wait, not you guys, because you're spirits.
Oh, right.
But like, yeah. Right, like my physical body.
Well, I don't know. He's like a powerful wizard or some shit, and wizards are able to be like, "Oh, I brought him back from the dead," and "Oh, I turned him into a dragon," and I've watched Caelum turn himself into worms. Like a big one, obviously, not like
but
like multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's fine. So I really just, what's the game plan? If the game plan is just like show up, knock some skulls around. I don't know if worms have skulls or if they have like tiny ones, and we'll just be like, haha, and like like knocking them that way. But I mean, I'm just sort of not at a loss. Obviously, we're training. We're able to do everything, but I'm just confused. Is all.
Yeah. No. Fair. Absolutely. As far as when we fought, do you remember when we fought Caius last time?
Yeah. No, that was scary.
Yeah. Kind of like that, but like on a bigger scale, I think. Like, because that wasn't like actually him. That was kind of just like an aspect of him, I think. It
was like his toes. He was wiggling them at us, all ferocious like, and we had to, hack and kill. His toes were very terrifying.
Yes. But we have to fight all of him and, stop him from kind of taking over all the worlds. So, kind of trying to figure out the best strategy for that. And
I mean, I'm kind of the mindset of go and hit him hard, hit him fast sort of thing, but I think maybe a sneak attack at first would be best, just because he is very scary. We do have to beat him down so we can get him into the sword, the weapon thing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm wondering because he is a caster, so there might be something we can do to get him to like shut up, you know, because like they need their mouths to cast spells, right?
Sometimes.
For the most part. Yeah.
Otherwise, there's those people who like close their eyes and like a gemmy in their forehead glows or something, and they're able to cast magic without their mouths. There are, or like, you know, sometimes there's like a sorcerer who is like, I'm too good for words, and they'll be able to like, cast magic that way. But Caius is like worms and stuff, so I don't really know how that all plays into if the silent would work. I think it would at least help with the sound of a bunch of worms moving. It's really gross and kind of squishy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that I mean, we can't really disembowel him or delimb him.
Nope.
Because he's kind of all stuff. But I wonder if there's a way we can, like, keep them from reforming, you know? Like, knock things off of them. And
like a troll. Like, you want to use, like, fiery weapons to, like, cauterize.
Yeah. Or, like, if it's a situation where you knock the things off and then acid them so they don't get back, you know, go back together sort of thing. Do we as a group collectively remember anything that seemed to be working in that way?
Magic worked really well that way. I don't know if there's like, I mean, if we're going after Caius, right? He's like a central man thing. Yeah. So there has to be a core. And if there's a core, that means that there are appendages. Now, there might be means of, like, removing an arm, and it would take some time for him to grow it back. So that might be a situation that we're looking for, you know, like cut off the arms.
Yeah.
We probably won't be able to cut off the head, because I think with worms, they have two heads on either side, which is, I don't know, like, do they poop out of their face? Worms are wild. And I don't really understand them, other than that they show up after it rains.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, I'm more concerned. That is a big concern. However, I am also concerned about the way in which we are getting to him and where we are fighting him, because I think that's going to be very important as well.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as how to get him, I mean, I thought it was a compelling argument to say, like, let's get a spaceship, because I like being it's like a mechanical dragon. It's very fun. As being on a giant rock, shooting through places, I think is dangerous. Yeah. I mean, from what I'm able to think and gather, the rock in the sky we only just found out about, and it's going to places, and we don't really know what places those are, and we don't know what the people of those places will be like, because they might see a giant rock shooting through the sky, and they could either say, like, oh, I revere it as a god, like these dragon people, or they could be like, oh, that fucker's back, and try and, like, blast us out of the sky because of you know, like what happened with those dragon people. What if they were mean about it? But there's a lot of it's going places, but I don't think that there's a lot of understanding as to, like, what those places are. Versus, if we go spaceship wise, like you said, there are lots of people who fly around in spaceships all the time. I'm sure that there's probably some guy who could be like, oh yeah, I know where the worms are, and then, you know, we would have a spaceship. We would just pay him money and say, well, take us to it and then go fight worms. And maybe, I don't know, like a lot of people motivated by money, we could even be like, yo, hey, stick around, we'll give you what's a lot of money, like 50 gold,
like 2,000.
Oh, 2,000. Yeah, no, 2,000 gold. I would fight to the death for 2,000 gold, easy.
Yeah.
So we could probably at least find some folk who maybe work cheap.
Yeah.
Or good folk who work expensive. And see about getting them to get us to where we need to go.
Yeah. Does anyone here have extraplanar travel experience or astral sea experience? Anyone have any contacts available?
They like all look amongst themselves. And Jakan will sort of raise their hand and say, I got hurled through the hells once.
Oh, cool.
It was awesome.
Yep.
Lasted 6 seconds. Best 6 seconds of my life.
That's impressive for some people, I bet. Yeah. Anyone with the astral sea, though?
And there's just like a murmur of quiet. And I think Tandriel would raise their hand, just say, like I had gone to the astral sea once or twice.
Yeah.
You know that she is the oldest spirit, though. So as far as like her contacts,
right,
you're not sure if they're alive at all.
Yeah. Okay, Tan. There's a way to get into the astral sea from like here, or like, do you have to like pop into another? Like, how does it work?
I mean, we've been to the astral sea before. All of us have.
Right.
When we.
Oh.
Yeah, when we, were after what's his name? Caelum. After Caelum, when he was like all dead and stuff, and then we hung out there with the dragons. They kind of flew us around. So that was the astral sea.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
I think we have a way to be there, or at least the city with all of those like the lizard people who aren't lizard people, like they don't have scales, but they have like the weird nose. Bill and Ted, those guys.
Yes. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, we have plenty of contacts. Why are they talking to our contacts? I don't get it. Like, well, I mean, I know that this is important, right? Okay, so we need to talk to the group about, maybe getting in contact with Bill and Ted or some of the other people. We could probably get those dragons to fly us around a little bit. I mean, we could always ask.
It never hurts to ask. What are the worst thing that
and
they're going to say is no, and we already aren't flying around on them anyways.
Exactly.
So our situation does not change.
Right. And, extra firepower if we can convince them to fight on our side, because nobody wants the world to end.
They're red ones.
Yeah, right.
Firepower. Get it?
Yeah,
nice.
Nice. Okay. I mean, anyone else have anything you want to bring up during this meeting today? I know it's been a while since we've had like a inner world meeting.
They all sort of like look at each other and just. So why aren't they doing magic stuff? And like it's just like a cyclical argument where you had a meeting with all of the spirits, and some of them are like, I mean, we only ever get brought out to fight and die, and that's pretty cool. So like wherever you need us to die, we are more than happy to.
All right. Well, if anybody needs anything, just pop up.
They all nod and agree.
All right. Okay. And Gwen has just been sitting talking to herself on the beach for the last 30 minutes, basically. I guess, right. She'll spend some time, I don't know, building a hut for herself in the woods while everyone else is off doing their own thing. She'll just, whenever she's needed to lift heavy things, she'll be there.
Fair enough. And again, woods, not so much. There's some beach shrubs that are doing their best to fight against the odds.
Yeah. Well, maybe she'll dig a big tunnel sort of thing Like make a hobbit hole. I don't know.
In a sand
She's
dune?
bored. What the fuck else is she gonna do?
Well, speaking of that, like considering we have 2 whole days to do this,
Mhm.
I think that Cori will spend at least one night casting plant growth on the island to get some vegetation there. And then the following day, she'll cast, like the day before the event, she'll cast Druid Grove to basically bolster up any defenses they might possibly
Okay.
need.
Yeah,
In case it's, more than just bears on the off chance.
for sure. All right, and Caelum, you were going. Which location were you going to? You were planning on talking to.
Oh, we were doing this after the bear
after the
drop.
bears.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so, Cori, as you are casting, getting your Druid Grove up. Gwen, as you were just like kind of working out and talking to the Dragonborn, because there really isn't that much else for you to do. And Arjhan, you were popping around, like depositing echo shards, coming back to this place, grabbing more, utilizing the house and fast travel mechanics that we have stated here. I think that's where we'll go into our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see all of you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Simon!
Wow.
I've got a joke for the birthday boy. It's a birthday
Ooh.
joke for the birthday boy. What do you get a bird watcher for their birthday?
Birds.
A birthday pheasant.
I like that. I like
Happy
that,
birthday.
actually.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
The other one was how do you know if a birthday cake is sad? It's in tears.
I like all of these. These are fun. These are on theme. I enjoy it. I like this. But I also like this game. So, last we left off, Gwen, you were having some conversations with your spirit friends. Caelum, Gwen is, she's having this conversation like aloud to herself sitting on the beach. If you'd like to overhear her asking again, like, yeah, why can't we just have the magic man magic things? You can definitely take the time to do your best to explain why to Gwen. Otherwise, you could just kind of listen to her go, and we can move forward to the arrival of bears.
I think what happens is Caelum is squatting in front of Gwen and just waits for her to come out of her trance and just face to face.
Jeez.
I think there's a misconception that we need to clear up.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back. What's up?
The astral sea isn't the same thing as wild space.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Caius is in wild space. We
Which-
cannot
which it-
traverse wild space as we do the astral sea because we do not own a vessel.
Right. Yeah. We'd need a ship
Correct.
or a dragon. Right? We need something that flies.
We would also need an apparatus to give us air because there is no air in wild space.
Okay. But these are things we can get, right?
Yes, but also there's a safer way to do things, and I think the machine that Arjhan's R&D department is making will facilitate getting us through wild space.
Okay. So, yeah, but we are going to traverse wild space to get to Caius, right?
Correct.
Okay. Using a ship.
Right.
Yeah. So the comet is moving through wild space, right?
More or less.
The diner is also moving through wild space?
Yes.
Okay. So we can use our ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
To travel through wild space to get to the comet, which is Caius. Use the whole comet?
No. Caius is not the the comet that the celestial is on.
No, I know. But he is like a big old ball of stuff, right? No, he's not a ball of stuff. There is a ball of stuff coming our way,
No.
but that is not Caius. It is part of Caius.
Yes.
Okay. So where is Caius proper?
From what Celestian has told me, in the sand he will draw like a small map. Here is our planet. Here is the moon. And then walks across the beach towards the water that is like several feet away.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Caius.
Yeah. So we have to get to him before he gets to the moon.
Well, we could take the fight to him, but we might need divine intervention to facilitate this big gap.
Yeah. I mean, like the diner is going to cross paths with Caius
Eventually, and we don't know when.
Okay. So I guess what is our plan exactly?
Well, from my knowledge, we get this machine up and running, we take it and hopefully bridge the gap between that big distance so we can take the fight to Caius.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have to take the fight to Caius with a ship in wild space. If we can use the comet that the diner is on, all the better, but we don't know when it's going to intercept. We actually don't know exactly where Caius is in general, so we could use the trajectory of the comet and what? I mean, like, how are we going to find him to get to him, right? That's a thing. And we can do that via, I mean, we know enough about Caius. Is there a way we can, like, spy on him and see where he is and get to him that way?
The only thing I'm hesitant about when spying on a caster with as much power level as you or greater is that opens a link between you two, which either can use for whatever nefarious schemes you wish.
So he can cast magic on you from a distance.
Perhaps.
Okay.
I'd rather not take that chance, considering my track record with being magically influenced.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess my question is, are we just going to wait, or are we going to make a strategy to take him where he is? Because we can't wait till he gets here.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So we need, if the apparatus, the machine, the ship that we have can get us to him, right? That's what we have to do, right? Use the ship to get to him before he gets here.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you've just given me an idea.
Good?
You see, like, Gwen, in your head, the spirits are like, up high. And, like...
We did it.
We've solved the problem.
Arjhan wants me to work on a sort of bug out bag style escape for people in Caius's path. But what if we were to use that and, say, transport an army to help us fight Caius? Could work. We wouldn't be doing it alone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how are we going to fight him in space if we can't breathe?
We need an apparatus or some sort of spell to form a breathable, habitable environment. Oof.
Well, okay. Think about this. Like I said before, I said to Arjhan, a lot of people have been traversing the astral sea, right? Which doesn't have air, right? They have ships that create air.
The astral sea does.
The astral sea has air?
Remember what? No, that was Arjhan.
Doesn't the astral sea not have air?
The astral sea absolutely has air.
The astral sea has air. It doesn't have gravity.
per se. It doesn't have gravity per se. That's what Caelum means by the astral sea and wild space aren't the same.
I as a player know that there is there are apparatus.
Okay, there's a difference between the astral sea and wild space, right?
Yes, yeah. No, what I'm getting at is I know that there are things out there that can create air bubbles for people, such as
You're thinking about wild space.
Yeah. What Gwen is getting at is people travel in wild space. There are things that we could get that allow us to get that. I'm just saying as a player, I know that this is a thing. Gwen is trying to get at.
And this is also Spelljammer mechanics. I don't know if this is how it works in Simon's universe.
Yeah.
Relatively similar.
Okay, cool. I was just going on an assumption that this is how it works.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is maybe we don't know the magic to do that, but there are probably things that we could find and or use. We just have to talk to the right people. I mean, Bill and Ted travel in space and time and shit all the time, right? Like they know how to get stuff.
Do they travel through space and time?
I don't know. They're really weird. I don't actually.
Time, maybe not, but space for sure. Gwen, you will remember that you even entertained what was formerly a very prolific adventurer of wild space, Skiznabat, a flump that you had hugged to death and that Caelum then turned back into a man.
Do I know that? Oh, I know he's still alive, right?
I don't know if Caelum explained that he was still alive, but you know at least.
What was his name? Skiznabat?
Skiznabat.
Oh my god, are you gonna sending this guy out of nowhere?
Well, what I'm saying is we know people who have moved through wild space before, right? We could probably figure out a way to get like I don't know, like something like you know, deep sea divers wear stuff over their head all the time to like get air. We could do that if we could figure out a way to create something like that for each of us, like fighting Caius in space with being able to breathe. I mean, like, my spirits don't need to breathe, so I already have an army. But, like, that is an option. It's something we should look into, I think, right? Like, I'm not being obtuse about this. Right? Like, this is something that is plausible.
No, you're right. It is something that's plausible. We just need to know someone who's traversed through wild space.
Wasn't there another person we knew who's traveled through wild space? Rasa.
Oh,
hi.
Well, hello. We're having a small discussion about fighting in wild space and the logistics of it.
Yeah. I mean, Rasa knows wild spaces, so
be worth talking to them about it. I mean, this is we'll deal with this first, but like thinking ahead.
Yeah, I assume, and this may be an incorrect assumption on my part, but I assume that the best way to get in touch with those wild spaces would be in wild space. That would be a lot easier of a thing to do once we have a wild space faring vessel, which mine is not done yet.
You telling me we're gonna have space ventures? That was hard.
Yeah. But also a thought, once we get into wild space, that's Gwen doesn't know that didn't happen in this campaign. But like being able to communicate outside of the vessel to people, or like I guess we could invite people in, but like it'd be good to look into that sort of. I mean, like there's a whole place that has a bunch of like magic tomes and stuff that we rescued. That the place that fell out of the sky, right?
Vascor?
Yeah. I'm sure they have some spells that we could use to like make a bubble. I mean, we breathed underwater for a long time.
Okay, so what we need to do, Caelum walks back up the sand and with a stick begins to draw out a plan. All right, we need to find a way to breathe in wild space, communicate with anyone outside of our vessel, draws a line that should be in Vascor. Maybe we can talk to Ollie about that since he's in R&D.
All of these sound like already solved problems. that
Right,
we just need to talk to somebody about this.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Why are we trying to make a plan for this right now?
Because we have 2 days and I literally have nothing to do, so this is all I have to think about, Arjhan.
Oh,
Okay.
well, Arjhan says that all of this is getting taken care of. It's probably getting taken care of. Throws the stick over his shoulder.
Sweet. Okay, cool. I guess I'll just go back to digging my hole. Gwen turns around and goes, she just disappears in a bush and she goes down.
Should
Can I
Sure.
set up a conference call with the Stone-Mantles
Yeah.
to have them explain the wild space stuff?
So they will explain. Effectively, your ship will generate a field of oxygen around it, so that way, in case you need to do any like surface level repairs, you don't have to like have a special suit or anything like that. For speaking with individuals on another crew, they would recommend finding a way to cast telepathic bond, as you would be able to let others into the telepathic bond, communicate with them, and then once you were done transmitting, you can also cancel communications there. Chances are people on other ships will also have access to at least one person with telepathic bond, just so that way they can reach out and let you know the status of their vessel, should they so be willing. As far as traversal through wild space and traversal through the astral sea, it is going to be outfitted with a variety of engine and propulsion mechanics that will allow you to move through there. They have simplified the initial design of the apparatus of Qualish that you had used for your undersea tyrant, and have instead made it so that you just need to sit onto a rather luxurious looking chair, and you should be able to pilot the vessel. They still do have battle stations set up in case any of you want to navigate or utilize things like breath weapons or claw attacks or some such things in the event of a danger. So those are still operable, but for the most part, it is going to be based primarily on the one in the helm of the ship, as they have sort of determined it, or let it to be. And they actually got most of the technology for this based off of the derelict vessel that you had pulled out from under the sea. So they are in the they have like added on basically like stations where you can stand, and little platforms, areas where you don't have to be inside of the ship in order to actually utilize it. Another thing that they did is that they realized that the ship as it was adult dragon sized for the most part. A variety of enchantments have been made to make this a much larger vessel, to actually have like cabin space, that sort of thing. Like, this is a full-fledged ship now that you would be able to utilize in space, kind of designed for longer travels, rather than just being like a singular room that has some buttons and things on it. It looks like they have learned a lot from the vessel that you pulled up from under the ocean.
As far as actual equipment, or additional equipment, whenever they were installing the parts that did need to be replaced or whatever, was there a supplier that they went to or any contact for wild spacing equipment?
For wild spacing equipment, they ended up going to Narath, the Gith Yankee city, and sort of talking to the Gith there. It seems like having a good, at this point, a good relationship with Tiamat, thanks mostly in part to you, got them a little bit of an extra push when speaking to them about spacefaring vessels, kind of getting the Gith to be more open about the way that things work. So it looks like it was actually one of the Gith that was able to sort of like, okay, this is like, you have one of our old ships. This is how this would be set up. Because as much as the Gith hate mind flayers, they also do just, they like coin when they can get it. And so it looks like, you know, like, hey, we'll give you some coin as well as point you in the direction of mind flayers if you help us figure this out. If you are looking for a name, we'll say that their name is Nazim the Builder. And Nazim is fairly well known in Tunarath for designing a lot of these ships. So it seems like a lot of the parts that they got were from Tunarath. They were able to actually get them imported down to Stone Mantle R&D, and then the other things that they've used have all been combinations of Hellfire engines that they have sort of begun to retrofit the weapons for, such as initially the Mechanical Tyrant only had access to an acid-based breath weapon. They have realized that not everything will, suffer the same damage as the acid-based breath weapon. So very similar to how Patience is able to change the damage type amongst the different elemental damages that Tiamat is able to produce, the Mechanical Tyrant also now has this upgrade. So lightning breath, acid breath, fire breath. It seems like being able to harness directly the Queen's power into a weapon has suited them rather well.
So we should be able to get the rest of what we need as far as breathing apparatuses, everything else from Tunarath if we need it.
Yeah, there is as far as, and I would say that as far as speaking to them as well, they would mention that there are either two places that you could go. There is either the Rock of Brel, which is located in the Astral Sea, or you could go to Tunarath. The Rock of Brel will most likely have more updated parts, but Tunarath will have parts that will work just fine, although they are a little outdated as far as like technological development goes.
Cool.
Sounds good. So Arjhan, you were able to get that information. Caelum, kind of taking Gwen's words into consideration as well about figuring out a battle plan. I'm sure that's going to now be like, Arjhan says that there are things that are taken care of. That does not stop a boy from worrying about the things that Arjhan has said that they are taken care of. So I'm guessing that like there is still
Gwen has done the one thing you should never do to Caelum and put thoughts in his head.
He has too many of his own up there. So that being said, the next day is going to be a lot more of just like trying to figure things out. You're watching more of these rocks fall. You're getting all of your like contingencies set up and ready. Cori is in the process of building out a Druid Grove, and I know that Druid Grove has several options as far as what it is able to be, like having treants that exist in this place. Like, what is the outcome of this Druid Grove? Because I know that there are some options that you can take.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I wanted to ask, like, what's the climate? I mean, I know it's like in the ocean, but like, are we looking at more of a like palm tree situation, mangrove situation? Is there no trees at all?
On this island, you are seeing that there is a lot of like dry shrubs, but there aren't really trees. There aren't any.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were to guess,
so with like with my plant growth,
Mhm.
could I possibly like have weird like unnatural like bleached like driftwood trees sprout up?
Yeah. The weird driftwood trees, I would say, if you would prefer, they can be palm-esque trees, or you could have them be mangrove adjacent trees as well.
Oh no, I want like art student like
Okay.
sculpture,
Tim Burton-y
like,
trees, got it.
Yeah, Tim Burton like pale skeleton trees. So like the second day, there's just inexplicably like a lot more like brush and like dune grass just kind of coating the island. And like these skeletal just sort of like clawing the sky bleached white driftwood trees. And then by the second day, they're all clustered together, like at the center of the island.
Sounds good. Okay, so you have these wicked-looking trees, and then what is the effect you are choosing for the Druid Grove?
This will be for a 90-foot cube. Yeah, okay. So I have several effects that I can put up a fog. Probably don't want that. We'd rather have visuals, right?
I believe so.
I'm gonna say it's Grasping Undergrowth and Grove Guardians.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I also have some additional effects that I can put into place, which are like wind walls. But I don't think that those will do anything against water necessarily. So I'm just gonna call it the Undergrowth and the Grove Guardians.
Okay.
So like the grass will act as a entangle spell. And the Grove Guardians, if called to, will defend this area.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Cori, you have this all set up. A lot of you have just been like getting ready and waiting for this thing to happen. And as you were all still in your like prepared state, and it's about halfway through that second day, you see that there is or you hear, first off, like that thrumming has turned into a deeper rumbling, and you feel that the world is shaking around you, and you realize it is go time. This thing is going to be happening like within the hour. From the sky, you see those chunks of Echo Shard begin to just fall in mass. Like they are like iceberg sized chunks that are just like plummeting into the ocean, and you can see that there are already waves that are like starting to curl and go out, and the ocean is becoming more tumultuous as time goes on in Caelum. This is like, okay, everybody into the mansion, this is bad, because the chunks of Echo Shard are also causing tidal disruption. It is at that point that you see almost like a large rounded edge. And we say rounded because there really is no other way to describe what it looks like when a meteor of this size punches through reality. There is that rumbling sound that becomes deafening, even inside of the magnificent mansion. However many rooms large it is, every single window, every door, every facet of this mansion is rattling with the amount of force that is being propelled through this space. Looking out of these windows, you can see that there is that green flash of light that seems to emanate from this massive fissure as a rock, a hunk of stone covered in this glowing green. You can see that there are like what appear to be like buildings and other such things like on this massive rock, as it just steadily comes into view from seemingly nothing until at the end of its trail out, like where you can see that it sort of like curves off at the back end, it goes through and leaves this fissure, and there is a suction of wind that seems to come into that fissure. Thankfully, you are inside of the magnificent mansion, but you see like one of the tree ant protectors just sort of like gets lifted up into the direction of this large fissure with their like little driftwood arms, like, oh fuck, I wish I wasn't sentient for this, as they are being propelled towards this fissure. And as they are flying, you see that they stop and then begin to drift down as that suction ceases. And then you see that from this fissure there is a propulsion of air forward as the driftwood and or tree ant gets like propelled forward, and you start seeing large dots. You start seeing, because it is off in the distance, from your understanding, you are seeing bears. You are watching as bears are getting propelled out of this large fissure in the sky, and they are just like free spiraling. Others are going in a variety of directions. They are coming from like all up and down this fissure, just seeming like getting rocketed towards. And then you see what it looks like the size of an island. And we're talking around the same size of an island that the dragon folk had come from, of what looks to be like, it's like old oak trees, a lot of old foliage, a lot of old growth is just coming through at like a almost like a downward angle. It seems like if you were seeing it, like, again, like it's not coming through at sea level, like this is coming through in the sky and then is going to be falling down, and you can see like there's like a mountain that's on top of it. From where you're able to see, there are like other caves and things like that. Like this is a large chunk of land that you were seeing that has these chunks of echo shards seemingly growing out of it as it splashes down into the water and like sinks and then shoots back up on its own. Like it has a very strange layer of buoyancy to it almost, as it begins to sort of like right itself and then catch onto one of these sand dunes. And as it bounces in the water, you watch as, again, as Caelum, you called it tsunami time, as just these large waves begin to roll forward. Thankfully, wall of force, magnificent mansion, and for for the majority of your spell, you are underwater, as this hunk of landmass has seemingly come out of its own reality and is now taking place in yours, as it has like seated itself like in between the sandbar area.
When the wave passes, Caelum will go over to a wall and kind of flip open this brass piping that's been piped throughout the magnificent mansion. Those of you wishing to board the comet should do so now.
And the Dragonborn all look at each other like, now is the time. And they will exit. They'll like exit the magnificent mansion and sort of like look up and just kind of again begin talking to themselves like, okay, I didn't think that we'd get this far. Did you? No, I didn't think. How are we gonna get up there? Well, I thought you knew. Well, I thought you knew. And like they are like having this conversation of like, you've said like you can board that thing, and they're like, great, we are going to figure that out. And it looks like one of them is like thankfully provided a flying spell, and so they are all going to like not take turns necessarily, but the one spellcaster is like, okay, group of you go. Once like he receives confirmation via sending, okay, next group go, and they are just going to be in the process. Cori, as you go out, and having seen that tree ant like fly up and then like move around, it's like, oh my god, I need to check on the others. And you go over to where this druid grove was, and thankfully you had this these entangling roots, these like grasping undervines, and you can see they have latched onto a many a fish. It seems that there are a bunch of fish that have all been caught up. And you also see a humanoid shape, but they are covered in brown fur, and they have little friend-shaped ears on top of their head as they are just like caught in this water, or like caught in your grasping vines.
A humanoid shape.
Humanoid shape. You're guessing from where they're at, they're maybe like 5'11".
Okay, I thought they were like Care Bear size. Like, oh my god.
The implications. No. It looks like a man sized, and like they, like face down in the sand. You're not sure if they're breathing.
So
Right.
Simon, is it like a kimono Mimi like situation where it's like bear ears, humanoid
No.
face? It's just
Well,
bear.
you can only see the back end of a bear
Yeah,
man.
it's face down.
Okay.
Corey's gonna walk up to it, very calmly, and as she does so, the dune grass parts around her. And she's going to kneel next to it and just kind of put her hand on its back, and check if it's breathing.
You are fairly certain that they have most likely inhaled a lot of water.
Uh-huh.
If you would like to use 5 points of lay on hands, you can blast that out of their lungs, no problem. Just like
Yep,
pop them back.
absolutely. I'm gonna do that. 5 points for you, my friend.
Yeah, and there is like the shudder of this body as like they cough this out, and like you can see they're like on their back, and they fold over onto their back. They have these little bear ears up at the top. They have a bear-like nose, a more humanoid face, but then you see that they have like tusks coming up from the bottom. And Cori, getting a good look, I'd like for you to make an Arcana check.
Okay.
This is Bear World's version of an orc.
I'm level 20, and this is a flat roll because I have no bonus.
Okay.
18, baby.
18. Okay, so with an 18, this looks like a furbolg. Like, if you had to guess, like,
Furbolg.
base makeup, like, not as tall, for sure, but, like, there is definitely, like, this, like, fey influence about them.
Right.
And
I think...
and, like, just start, like, blinking open, and they have these just rich, chocolatey brown eyes.
I think that, like, just out of it's on instinct, she like kind of responds in surprise. In Sylvan, she says, "Are you a friend of the forest?"
In Sylvan, what happened? What happened? And like you can see, like they sort of like get this look and like back up and just. In Sylvan, you speak bear.
I speak your tongue.
What happened? Where am I?
I don't know what happened on your end, but you fell from the sky.
Sort of like pats the grass.
Cori will basically tell the grass like this is an ally, and it will just like shift away from him.
That's weird. Oh, this is weird. Smell. Just see. Let me see. I was in the cave. You see, like they start like standing up, and like now that like you see them standing up, they like they have like smooth inner palm hand, like bear pads, but like the rest is just like full bear coloring as well. And they just are like looking around. They don't see anything else, and then like off in the distance they see like a mountain that they recognize. It is rude of me to not say thank you. I am Ursus of the Great Mountain, but I seem to have misplaced my mountain, as it were.
It's good to meet you, Ursus. You can call me Cori. Are you hungry? You can join us in our mansion if you please.
What's a mansion? Like a big cave?
Very much so.
You're very kind, stranger Cori. If that thing, and he like points, and like he has like an angered expression as he's pointing up to the comet that like all these dragonborn are like, all right, home, freedom, and like the interaction, like the disparity between the two, the dichotomy, as these dragonborn are like flying up to meet this comet, and this bear man is like, you know, like he's got pants on, he's not like Donald Ducking it out here. Like it's like wearing like you can tell it's clothes, you know, not great clothes. He did go through a massive portal. Sadly he does not have a hat, Levi. Not yet anyways. If somebody wants to give him a hat, I will not doubt that. But yeah, Ursus is sort of just like looking out, and you can see that there are like other, like there are bears, there are a surplus of bears that are like exiting the ocean, like getting onto like smaller islands and sort of like taking stock of their surroundings. And Ursus will like kind of look at them and just like shake his head, just nighttime, we're going to sleep. Sorry. Cori mansion says something about food.
Of course. Everyone can come.
Everyone. Like when you say everyone, he like points to the bears that are out there.
Yes. Yeah, she nods vigorously.
Just, if you'll excuse me for just a moment. And he goes over to the shoreline, just like just like bear noises off into the distance, and like other bears are like they are now responding in bear.
Cori will tell the Druid Grove, like, allies, you know, these guys are chill.
All bears are allies until proven otherwise. If they have the friend-shaped ears, they are okay.
Caelum's on the beach, hands on the hips, watching the dragonborn fly, and turns his head to the side. Is that a bear?
Yeah, like Caelum, you can see that there are
plane. There's gonna be bears outside.
Yeah, Caelum is like, Cori is like walking with this bear man as they approach.
You explain.
No, you explain. Or I think like you're saying it in Elvish, and he just.
I'm saying it to Cori.
Oh, okay.
You explain. But
this is Ursus. He fell from the sky. Oh, I'm sorry, Ursus. Do you speak common?
I like bear. And he like bites the head off a fish that he like snagged from the tsunami that had brought him in.
He doesn't seem to be able to speak common, does he?
No, turns out bear is common in bear space.
As it seems, yes. She'll turn back to Caelum and say, it seems that they only speak Sylvan. They appear to be some sort of subrace of Firbolg. Ursus? You seem to have recognized that mountain over there. Is Alira your home?
Was Alira?
This is where we are.
I got a question to help determine if it's my home. Do all your fish look like this?
Many of them.
I think this could be my home.
Oh, I see.
Like, just like, and he will explain like where he's from. Most of the fish do not have the like Piscine fish face. They have like a bear face on them.
Oh
like,
God.
Most things from where he are from they're just bears. They are all, it's bears all the way down.
That would make it really hard to eat fish, wouldn't it?
This man eats sea bears.
I do.
Does he shit bear lightning?
You want to ask him?
No.
Yeah, Ursus, you can see like He doesn't know. This is not his home. This is not where he's from, necessarily. But if the food tastes like this, maybe this wasn't so bad. And he asks, are all the bears here hairless?
I suppose if they're sick, yes, but most of them have hair.
So you're a sick bear. And he's
Oh.
a sick bear.
I'm sorry. I suppose if I were a bear, I'd be very sick. No, I'm not a bear. I'm an elf, and so is he. A different kind.
So you aren't bears.
No,
Okay.
as far as I know.
I got a lot to think about. And he just
I
sort of
see.
puts his hands into his pockets and wanders off to the break of the beach where he can start helping other bears make their way to this island, telling them they got a big cave that they said that we could get food in. The fish don't have our faces anymore.
Cori,
Yes?
bear plane, bear people.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. They're he's cool. We're not gonna fight him.
No, they don't seem violent.
All right,
Just
cool.
confused.
I bet. How are we gonna get them home?
To their own plane?
Yeah. Do you think they should stay here?
I think they rather like it here. Everything on their plane is bears. And they like to eat fish, which isn't bears.
Okay. So we're gonna make this island their home?
I don't know. Caelum?
Yeah.
Do bears typically live on islands? On the natural plane?
Oh, okay. Well,
Because they rather like forests and mountains in the Feywild.
it really depends on what type of bear we're talking about, but most of them live in boreal forests.
That kind, right there.
It's a
I
bear
don't-
man helping a mother bear out of the ocean. You can see there's a cub on her back that he picks up and sort of shakes the water off. He doesn't dry it, he just shakes it and puts it back.
I'm gonna go help get the bears out of the water. I'll be right back.
They don't speak our language.
Hey, they're bears, she says, walking away.
They speak Sylvan.
I can still lift them. What's the problem?
That's just a warning.
They're bears. Duh.
What's the worst that could happen? They're bears.
I know that bears don't speak English. Obviously, they're bears.
Gwen's good with people. She'll be all right.
This has been a lot of excitement for one day, and that's saying a lot considering who we are.
It could have been a lot more.
Slow camera zoom, as in The Office, onto Caelum's face as he looks into the camera. Why?
How many Dragonborn are leaving, do you think?
I think the entire group might be going.
Yep, all 18.
Cori starts counting bears.
Yeah, from bears that you can see, there's probably 30 bears that are making their way over here. Seeming to have followed Ursus's call.
Suppose we're playing tradesies with another plane.
Honestly, this island might be a bit cramped for 30 bear people. Though, and he'll point over to the island that just touched down, that might be a great place for them.
Is that stay?
I would hope so. Otherwise, where are we going to house 30 bear people?
I mean, we don't necessarily have to house them. They just go wherever they want, I suppose.
I think we have a sort of responsibility, though, don't you think? They're kind of new to the plane and they just touched down.
Oh, I mean, we certainly have a ability to our fellow humanoids, kindness, and at the
Noblesse
very
oblige,
least, giving
that
them the
sort of thing.
information that they need to succeed out here.
Some people would do less.
And Gwen, you can see, like, when you went over to, like, help with the bears, you were met initially, like, what the hell? Like bear, like, kind of, like, standing on its hind legs to, like, get a better look at you. And, like, Ursus, like speaks to them and has it, like, you can tell, like, he's basically like, no, they said that we can eat the non-bear fish. It'll be fine. Apparently they have plenty here. And like is sort of like leading them in, and like if the door to the magnificent mansion is still there, like Cori, I'm assuming you probably told Ursus where to go. Ursus is like just like pointing off to that direction, and so I feel like in the background of like, well, I feel like we really have to owe it to these people. You just see bears like walking into the mansion, and like some of them have like
Cori'll quickly hit her communication, her sending stone, to inform Arjhan. She's gonna say, bears incoming. They speak Sylvan.
And Arjhan, you are
What?
inside the mansion, and just suddenly bears, like just a steady stream of bears walking in that are all like sniffing around and like nodding and talking to each other. They seem to have some sort of method of communication.
Arjhan will back up into the hallway, shut the hallway door,
Sorry.
find his way to one of his rooms, and just put his crossbow in front of him and just sit down.
Just the image of Arjhan slowly backing up with like bear silhouettes in the foreground and just stock bear noises getting louder and louder.
And there's like, you hear like plates clattering, the snuffling of bear noses on everything. Like these bears are making themselves at home. This is a Little Red Riding Hood, or not a Little Red Riding Hood. This is Goldilocks, like a reverse Goldilocks, where it's the bears coming in being like, oh, hello, we can sit in these chairs, and like a chair breaks under them kind of thing. You also notice that it is not like one bear man and then the rest are bears. You also see other like bipedal bear folk that are making their way in. Some of them are more like shifter adjacent. Like they have like, rather than the two little friend-shaped ears on top, like they've sort of begun to gravitate down towards more of the side, develop more of like almost elven style, where like they're starting to point a little bit more, but they have more humanoid features than bearish features, to be fair. And even they are still just like, what is happening, like speaking in Sylvan and bear to each other, but they have begun to find their way until Gwen, you with Ursus's help have gotten most of the aquatic stragglers, to be fair.
Walks back over to the group. All right, did we come up with a plan?
And it's just Caelum and Cori that are currently outside, because Arjhan is just in his room looking at the crossbow, waiting for the bears to take over.
Depends. Which problem are we talking about?
The bear people.
Right. No.
Okay. Maybe we should talk to them and see what they want.
Yep.
That's what I was saying.
All right.
Let me
Let's go see how much they destroyed.
Oh, it's fine. The mana resets itself whenever it despawns. So we could throw like a really big rager in there. Though I do feel bad about the invisible servants. Walk in.
You walk in and you are immediately assaulted in the nose by the smell of roughly 35 to 40 wet bears that have all just come out of the sea. And they are just like milling about, like they're like trying to like put their like nose behind a dresser, and like the dresser falls over and they just sort of look at it and like paw at it. Like one of them has found like a basket of apples that you had set up as like a little snack, and they're like all gone. Like the bears are just like just eating all of the food that they possibly can, and Ursus is like standing amongst them, like looking and like talking with the other more humanoid bear folk, and just like, and Cori, you can hear just, yeah, apparently this thing is like a cave made of wood. They called it a mansion. You know, I think it's not as homey, you know. But they got free food. You know, they said fish. We found some apples.
Ursus?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that you?
Oh, hey there, stranger.
Hello. Just so you know, this mansion isn't permanent, so you're probably going to have to find a place to live. Do you like beaches?
I like my mountain. That guy over there.
That one over there?
We were all sleeping
Caelum?
inside of it, and apparently now it's in the ocean.
Caelum, do you know what lives on that mountain? Is it anything dangerous?
That's
Bears.
That's part
Bears
of the
live on
mountain
that
that
mountain.
came through the portal.
Oh my god. I thought that this was like an alternate dimension situation. Okay.
Oh, no, the mountain came with them.
Yeah, it like straight up
Wow.
like got torn through, fell into the water, was buoyant, and then stationary.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm okay. I'm all on board now. I've got it. I'm caught up.
Yep.
Cori, bears live on that mountain.
Oh my goodness. That's the mountain that came in with it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we're all,
mountains and meteors are two different things in my mind.
Meteor.
Meteor?
Is that what that thing
That's-
is? We were calling it a sky bear.
I see.
I'm leaving.
I'm gonna go check on Arjhan.
You know, I didn't know that there were so many words in the Sylvan language for bear.
Yeah, it's it's bear language. I don't know why you keep saying Sylvan, but yeah, there are many. We have at least 280 different words for bear.
I see. Well, it's kind of a colloquial thing. Evidently, there's at least 2 words for Sylvan, and one is bear.
Oh yeah, I mean you're speaking bear right now.
Incredibly.
And one of them just indubitably. Also in
Yeah.
bear, but
Of course.
yeah, none of this
Indubitably.
is said in common.
I'm gonna
Cool.
plug myself into this conversation. Telepathic bond.
What is going on? And he says
Hello.
like in bear, but like you can hear it in common.
Hello, I'm Caelum.
We're doing mind bears. How's this working?
You'll have to bear with me. There are some things that need explaining. For one, I'm speaking directly into your head, which is now being translated into the language you speak. So I'm
Wow.
speaking my language. You're hearing it in bear.
Oh, thank God.
Ursine?
Ursus.
Ursus, sorry. Would you like to go back to your island?
Oh yeah, no. All my stuff's there.
It might
My
be a little
owlbear's there.
displaced, considering you all fell from the sky into our world, our plane.
You know, I felt like that was happening. I mean, we were falling for a while, and like we were grabbing down onto the ground for, like trying not to fall off, and then some of us did, and I fell off, and thankfully, your weird green ground fur was able to catch me before I kept going.
Caelum has leaned against a wall, putting his forehead against his forearm at the word mention of ground fur.
Cori's
Yeah.
just nodding earnestly.
if you do
That
have
must
any
have been
questions,
very frightening.
Oh, it was, I mean, most of us were hibernating at the time, but wow, what an awakening,
I could say the same thing about me a few years back.
What an awakening.
What an awakening.
Terrible.
But yes, if you have any questions about your current situation, feel free to ask them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Is everyone hairless?
it
Not
depends
everyone,
on,
no.
Okay,
It depends on
okay.
who you talk to.
Still kind of weird. One of them saying that they saw like a man who was covered, like a bear who was covered in scales and had like wings. Stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He a
That's
bear.
Arjhan.
I haven't seen a
Or
bear. Like
one of the
him before.
Dragonborn, probably.
It's like
But
one of
yeah.
them small crawly bears, but bigger.
See, the first thing that you need to learn about this place is that not everything is bears.
What do you mean?
Some things are bears, other things are not bears.
Mm-hmm. In fact, most
Like-
things aren't.
I need
Like
you
these
to hold
fish.
on for just 1 second.
Turns to the rest of the group and in bear.
Apparently, not everything is bears here.
And the bears are just like, what? Not bears. Like there's like a general like what do you
confused
mean not
bear
bears?
noises.
Everything
This
is
is the
bears.
second greatest upheaval they've had today.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time to get used to. That's for sure.
Right. Well,
Could
time
you
is
make
all up.
everything bears.
Could I?
Cori's going to quickly write something on a piece of paper in Sylvan that says, "Can you read this?" And she'll hand it to him.
He looks at it.
This is like, it's like you took the way that the waves look when they're crashing against rocks, and you stuck it on this piece of, I don't know what this is. It's this like part of tree.
Paper.
Hmm.
It's paper.
Why?
Does this make any sense to you?
Not a lot of this makes sense. No.
I see. All right. So we're going to need to get some teachers in here who can impart information verbally.
Oh, well, I am having a stint in the Feywild for a bit. I can rally some people to help.
Who are your elders? The ones that are knowledgeable among you? Scholars? Scalds? Bards?
Who's smartest?
Oh, me. I'm sort of the big bear.
I see. Would you like to learn more about this world? And the things that aren't bears?
The answer in following, yes, because I think we're going to be stuck here a while. And do I have to?
You do not have to. It's entirely up to you.
We have learned about a lot of things that are not bears in the last little bit, and I don't like any of them.
Oh no, they don't know about time.
Just whatever you got. As long as it's bear, related to either like Sky Bear or you hairless bears, I'm sort of feeling weird about. But if you could just like look a little, if you had more fur on you, I'm pretty sure you'd fit right in. Is what I'm trying to say. Anyways.
Oh, I see. Well, as it turns out, we all get to decide whether or not we want fur. And if you want fur, you can have fur. But I'd really rather not.
He like turns and looks. We don't want fur. And a lot of just, oh my god! Like there's like like you just not have it, but you would get cold.
It's a personal preference.
Oh no.
And a biological one.
A hand will touch Cori's shoulder as Caelum realizes something.
What's that?
This is a tropical climate.
Yes.
These people are bears
Yes.
in a tropical climate.
Mm-hmm. Are you telling me that bears don't like tropical climates?
Boreal or temperate forests.
Oh, do you think that island is going to change a lot?
Yep. If it gets any hotter, I think a good majority of the vegetation is going to die.
Oh, I see. The entire ecosystem.
Out of whack.
To shreds, you say?
Total debauchery, total chaos.
Dear. Perhaps there's something we can do about that? Can we move it? What if we just take it and push it somewhere else?
On impact, it's oddly buoyant. So it's not attached to anything currently except for that sandbank. I wonder if we could talk the dragon turtle into pulling it somewhere a bit more colder.
I wonder how much money that would be.
Money we don't
Arjhan's
have.
not going to like it.
We could call it the favor for helping their people get to the comet.
We can try it.
We can try it.
In the meantime, Ursus,
Yeah.
do help yourself to the amenities of the cave. Welcome to Illyria.
He just sort of nods.
More specifically, Koris'Erd.
Is this Corsair?
The world.
I'm sorry.
And he just sort
I've
of
been
like
doing.
looks at you and just like you can tell like your words are like welcome to so and so. He's like, I have no frame of reference.
That's fair. I've been doing this natural plane thing for years now, and I've just never gotten the hang of it.
You and me both. And I'm from here, Caelum says as he starts walking away.
And Gwen, you had gone off to speak with Arjhan?
Yeah, I just wanted to check in to see, just knock on his door. It's me.
Okay, come in.
Opens the door and like closes it behind her. How's it going?
I just.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, not in a city
Yeah.
or anything like that. Bears were never good news.
Right. No, I get that. I absolutely 100% understand. You want to stay in here for a while? Because I think they're staying out there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, whatever you need.
I think like at that point, like a door like opens and it's a bear person just and then like closes, seeing that it's already occupied.
Might want to lock that. It's weird that they we've seen a Fey bear before, right? Like that one that knew Cori in the forest that was kind of an asshole.
What you're talking about?
They went. Remember, they went back into the Feywild in the Big Rock.
No.
No.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
Okay, that's fine. Anyways, yeah. So I just, if you want to lock the door, I'm gonna go out and make sure they don't eat anything they shouldn't. Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Just let me know if you need anything. Okay.
Just a little shake, he's terrified.
Yeah. She kind of just pats his knee for a second, and then, all right, I'll be out. I'm just on the other side of the ascending, right?
Okay.
Okay. She exits the door and closes it. She'll do the thing where she like locks it before she closes the door, like so when it closes it locks behind her. Walks back in the hallway and just awkwardly like looks around, make sure no bears are eating cushions or like she doesn't want any bowel obstructions.
No, I think at this point, like, the unseen servants are just like carrying trays of food in the direction of where like the central foyer where all these bears have sort of like collected themselves.
There's one bear that just figured out you could order apples and nothing but apples.
Yeah, no, like to get a better understanding, a lot of the bears have moved from the foyer proper, and because you can sort of make rooms willy-nilly inside of the mansion, there is like a ball pit, but it is just apples. And you see that there are bears that are just like, I've had a rough day, and like just like kind of like crawling onto this large pit of apples. Others are like covering them like onto their stomachs. Like, these taste way better than where we're from before. Like, they don't have any hair on them. This is incredible.
Nasty.
Yeah. It's bear world. Think about the implications. So, that being said.
Wait.
Yes.
Are the trees bare too?
Like on the outside, they got like fuzz on them. I mean, it's
Caelum.
all like, we believe in the Great Bear cosmology. Like everything is carried on the back of a large bear.
Is
that
the
kind of-
mountain in the shape of a bear?
It is, yeah. Yeah, all the we're pretty used to the bear grass.
The bear aesthetic of it
Yeah.
all.
Well, the fur that comes from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps you warm around the evening.
Right.
Really comfy. Kind of just like lay on it anywhere. So far, it does not look like that is what is going on. Out here, you got sand, get everywhere. There's the ocean. Not a fan. Smell like fish now. Are you gonna help us get back to Better Island?
Yeah. I just need some time to think.
Okay. I mean, take as much time as you want, but like all my stuff's over there.
Yeah.
I think.
I'll be outside. Caelum will walk out of the house a few feet away from the door, just lean back, fall on his ass, and then just lay down in the sand.
Okay. So Caelum is processing the amount of bears. Arjhan is processing the amount of bears. Gwen, you have passed by a multitude of bears having a feast. And Cori, this isn't... You've had some weird encounters in the Feywild. The amount of bears and the presence of bears is not startling to you. Some of these bears are very well-mannered.
Yep. She's just gonna hang out with them, heal anybody who needs healing, and repeatedly explain, yeah, no, not everything is bears here.
They will explain, like, everything is bears where we're from. So the fact that things
So
are
I've
not
heard.
bears is wild.
It's very out of the ordinary for us. I'm just as confused as you are.
Yeah, and they, they're glad to be alive, having been thrown through said portal. But is there anything that y'all want to have in terms of conversation with these bears? Because if not, I think that with you all processing the sheer number of bears, having, witnessed the Planebreaker making its way through, onto this plane. Where we will finish tonight is that we will pan down into the hells, onto the plane of Phlegethos in Stone Mantle R&D, and Yuglon Jonquil, Cat Stone Mantle, Bridget, the three of them stand in awe looking at this large mechanical dragon that they have spent the longest while working on. And you see that there are smiles to be had as they admire their completed vehicle. And as they admire their completed vehicle and send Arjhan the notice that this thing has been taken care of, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's game. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by, because we couldn't do shows like this without people joining in. People especially like RJ. RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, my name is RJ, and you can find me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about nerd things about life and sometimes shitpost. Catch me here on Mondays as Caelum, but you knew that. Thursdays and Sunday mornings over at the Hype Goblins, where we do a Pathfinder 2nd edition game where I play the big himbo dragon boy Sulong, and he's trying his best as the most emotionally stable person of the party at the moment, which is weird to me. And Sundays as a angsty ranger boy who found out that there's a person who destroyed his entire family staying in the inn right next door, and he's holding everything back not to burn the town down. Other than that, Saturday over at G Game Nights, where we do Parcelings. It's a deck building game, which is fun. And Sunday evenings over at Neon Lights Roleplay, where we're doing a game in a system called Print Weavers, which is a Dark Soul-like game where when you die, you revive back at your last save point. It's great. De facto team leader for some reason. I don't know. I'm trying to shirk all my responsibilities off on someone else. It's weird. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. Usually I am somewhere else, but today I'm traveling. So next time you can see me live is on Friday. Lauren and I will be back playing Resident Evil 4. We are about halfway through at this point. And then we'll be back on Sunday with our Playthings of the Gods. They are in they're not in Wild Spice. They're in the Astral Sea. And they are in Doom Space right now. They're about to get into a gladiatorial type pit, which will be super fun. And yeah, so that's me. DanaeKeener.com.
Wait, I'm sorry. You can find me. I've been shitposting on Twitter about Tears of the Kingdom. But I also am streaming Tears of the Kingdom on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/cyberwolf1. And I'm running a game of Zelda, not Tears of the Kingdom, a Cyber System game that we're going to have our finale of next week on Sunday on twitch.tv/HighShelfCollective. And then I'm here. DanaeKeener.com.
Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, that's the website that belongs to me. I'm Danae Keener, and you can find me there. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. I've been doing some Dracula Daily stuff, so go check it out. It's a lot of fun. Also go to Twitter at Danae Keener. I've got a pinned tweet there with my schedule. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your bear, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right now, schedule is open. So, probably going to have something gearing up in the next month, but until then, I'll probably be doing like a model building stream, or maybe I'll mess around with Dungeon Alchemist and just generally hang out. We'll figure something else out. But for the meanwhile, it's just this night. So you can also find us anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free, or you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the games that we have played up until this point. We just wrapped up our Ghostbusters game, which was super fun, using the 1986 West End Ghostbusters tabletop RPG. It was myself, Lex, Sir Hack, McBoots, and Ted from Nerd Immersion. It was a great time. So go and check that out. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us. The link to that Discord where you can ask those questions is in the Twitch chat to this side over there. Or, again, it can be found in the description of this video or audio cast down below. But we are going to be heading out, so I'd like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!